All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? So this is where we left off. Oops, let me start my timer. Hey, Dusty Old Muffin, welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. How are you doing today? So where we left off was that we had this identity server set up. Additionally, I had my MVC set up, and we were using that separate authorization system. If you recall, when I was setting this thing up, I had added forms authorization, and I have since pulled that, and I'm using the ON context authentication, which I think is the user store. But also I'm using this new, it's in here inside of startup. I'm using this new, this new user service. So this thing runs, and we have this MVC that runs, and then we have this web API which is exposing all of the backend functions. Hey there, Patrick. How's it going today? Yeah, let's go ahead and run the web API. Ironically, says Dusty Old Muffin, I'm going to learn about MVC core in like 3 hours at school. Oh, okay. MVC core is different than MVC 4, which is what we're using here. Core is a little bit more streamlined in my opinion, and it's newer, which is cool. But yeah, it's about the same thing. So this should fail because a web API doesn't have a UI associated with it, except we have dumped on Swagger on this one. Give me just a minute. This is the first launch since I've opened it. I think the club's just adopted core. So here you can see inside, here's the different web API methods that I've currently set up. So if we wanted to look, for example, at Twitch users, I currently only have LiverDevTrine in here, who doesn't have any channels. So let's keep going. If I'm looking at my MVC, so in a Dusty Old Muffin, these ones we have the web API and the ASP.NET MVC side decoupled, so they are separate applications. Come on. There it is. And then also we need to make sure that this is running. And we could probably just for poops and giggles make sure that my authorization server is running too. There it is. So you can see that. So currently it has me logged on. We can log off. You can see that this is my Swagger. And this one should be my authorization server on my fake HTTPS. So if I come back in here, I should be logged off now. And I am. So if I log in, it's going to give me the choice of an external login provider. So we'll use Twitch at the moment. Potty mouth, what did I say? Alley chat, Twitch. Okay, and this is where we left off. So now we're going to create a new account, and it's going to ask if I want to authorize an account. So just 1 second while I type in my password, please. All right. Oops, wrong one. Let's go back here. Here we go. Login. And we will authorize it. When we kick through, it's going to issue me an access token, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to request to create it over here inside of my web API. So let's see how that works. Okay, here it is. We're looking to see if we can create the user, and we have. Then we're going to check to see if the provider exists, and it does, because we are seeding the database with our Twitch information. We're going to create this one routed. Then we're going to insert it. Oh no, that's fine. And then we'll save the changes. Everything saved successfully. And now we're going to create the response. Now, I want to make sure real quick that I'm not exposing that access token. Okay, so I have received it successfully. One thing that's interesting is on this create response, it's not giving me a base. Pardon me. This needs to be a date time dot UTC now. Interesting. Probably don't need this either. Okay. So that's great. So that means that that worked, and it's going to successfully dump this into the app, and so now we can start to work on the service a little bit. I was making fun of your lack of inner sailor. Oh, I have a little bit. Just not when I'm on stream. Be a good skill to have when I get kids here coming soon. Not yet. Hey, here we go. Oops, so that's not going to work because you always have to launch your MVC first. So let's set this as my startup project. Try that again. Go ahead and close all this. And then we're going to dump this over to the service. And we're going to start the service running. Okay, here we are. And then when we look, we should see both. And we do. Okay. So now that means that inside of this service that I had running, and it's been a little bit since we looked at this. So we have something here called get bot accounts. So here we need to, I think I want to use my client services for this, right? It's called my iClient services alley chat. And so now here, when we need to get our bot accounts, I should do something like client services alley chat dot get Twitch well, you want to do it for let's see. So in this one, we want to do this await my client. This is a async task of this iList. Client services alley chat, right? Dot. And now we want to get my, it's going to be for each one of these. Twitch, routed, async, right? And now we want to get my route ID number. Get Twitch routeds. If I look up here, do I have something here called? Yeah, you need one here called get Twitch routeds, right? And this thing is just going to pass in my resource user URL. Hey there, Peter. My wife is very sailorisk with words. How are you doing this morning? Not so much. Turns out kids are more well-mannered than other families I know. Yeah, actually, that's what I've been hearing about the next gen. It's only when you're looking, Peter. Okay. And this needs to have a static resource private static string, and then it's going to be a we're going to call it, let's see, I think you already have this defined here inside of your MVC, inside of your controllers, inside of your base controller. Here it is. Perfect. I don't think we need that. This thing is this resources app URL. And then here we want to add in my var routed. This thing is telling me that it's in an assembly that's not referenced. And so now what we want to do is we want to do my for each, and it's going to be var routeds in routed. Sorry, that's wrong. Then when you look at this again, this is a Twitch routed's response, which means that down here under your modules for Ally Chat, under your library, you have Twitch, you have this responses, and it's called, let's fix these. These are called Twitch users response. Hobby stuff today, says Patrick. Kids are like quantum particles. Not quite sure what you mean by that. Let's fix this one, Twitch user. Looks like you already have it here with routeds. So it looks like you have these things in here twice. Routed Twitch response, Twitch routed response. Interesting. This one is passing over a Twitch routed view model. So these things are exactly the same. Routed Twitch delete. So let's change this to be a Twitch routed delete response. And then this one will be a Twitch routed's response. Perfect. Just a second. Kids act differently when observed, much like quantum particles do. That makes sense. Oops. I know I did. I messed this up a little bit. I got overly excited. Twitch routed response. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to look back here. Up here in my program, I'm sorry, you're calling this client services, which has this Twitch routed's response, which is perfect. So down here, routed's dot routed's Twitch. Perfect. Routed dot, and now you see we have my OAuth token and a Twitch user, which is perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to create this new channels to join. And this is going to come from my Twitch user view model. So that's a routed dot Twitch user view model. Okay. So right here, you need to have your connection event, right? Oh, this is another list here. So let's just move this back to where that came from. So all this is doing is returning this list of channels, which is this. Now here you want to get your connection credentials, right? So this whole thing is going in here. So here you want to do your get your credentials, and this one's going to be your routeds.twitch routeds. Sorry, we're just calling this a routed, right? Because it's in the loop. Back in a bit. Don't misbehave too much, chat, but you can a little. Alrighty, man. See you in a little bit there, Patrick. This is a Twitch routed view model. And now here, the next one is there's nothing else, right? Oh wait, no, that's not right. And then we have to have this bot connected as, which is going to be my routed dot Twitch user. When you look at this, I don't think you even need this one, right? Because you have it right here. So in here, like that, and then you're going to connect, then you're going to return nothing, and all you're going to do is add this to your list. Okay, this one here is my routed.twitchuser.username.toLower.trim. And now this one is going to be OAuth. And then it's going to be your routed.OAuth token. Create bot account connections. All right. So now for each one of these channels joins, when you send a message, we're going to send it to each channel. Let me check one thing over here real quick. Alrighty, serializer, see you in a second. Let me go to my web config. Sorry, my app config. Yeah. So one concern that you have is that this thing is not currently using that Katana pipeline. So we need to set that up. So over here, I need to look at my identity server 3. And we want to look at the documentation. And here what we want to do is, this is the server, this is the client. So we need to create a new client for this. That's pretty easy. If we look here inside of my identity server under my clients, it's going to be under my migrations, underneath my client configuration, and then it's this C. And you can see that here we're creating my client here, 3002, pixel client controller. This is a chat user here. And this is the web API. So what we need to do is connect to the web API as another user. So we want 3005 is the one that we're connecting to. Just a second, please. All right, sorry. We gotta make sure that the identity is set up here, so that because we're using the web API. So in order to do that, what we need to do is okay. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to install this package called, and this goes up on Ali Chat, and we're going to set this as the default for now, and we're going to install this identity model. And while this looks, I'm going to look at the web API where we already have this thing set up. So this is the piece right here that we want. But we need to start a web app here. So what we want to do is we want to do a self-host web app C#. We have something in here called self-host. We need to add a startup class in here now. Which looks like this. So that's fine. And we actually don't need this routes and probably that either. We might want to do this HTTP config. That's not a bad idea. And now what we want to do is, just like we did over here in the web API, we can pull this piece. So we didn't get everything that we needed here because we need to get this. Well, when you also look back at your resources and you're getting your client controller here, I think you have something in here called a... Oh no, you don't. You're just doing it here in startup right here. So this is coming from my identity server bearer token options, which comes from my identity server 3 access token validation. So let's add this into Ali Chat. Okay, so this is telling me that in this client, I need to look at my NuGet packages. It tells me my identity model is too high of a level, and it is. So we want to drop this down to 1.92, I believe, right? Okay. And then we're going to update this, install this access token validation. Perfect. We're going to need to bring over that Owen startup attribute, right? Whatever this thing is called, this assembly tag. That could have been bad. Here. It goes above the namespace. And this is called a PHS alley chat. All right, that looks pretty good. But the problem is that you're never actually starting this web app. So to do that, you have to go to Program. How do I start a self-hosted web app C#? Pardon me. Hey there, Shadow. It's going great. How are you doing today? I didn't see where they started it. It was here, right? Just a second. Oh, you know what I can do is I can do a self-hosted SignalR. That's where I'll find it. Here, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So the first thing you want to do is connect here to your web app, and we're going to run this thing on 8086 or something, whatever. We'll say it's 8106, just for now. We need to add in the web app. Then we're going to create the connections. This doesn't go here, right? This went over here under startup, and it's there. And then we have this nonsense in here. All right, let's see what happens in here. So the first thing we need is to run this identity server. Oh, okay, just really tired. Why are you so tired? What's going on? Okay, there's the identity server, and then let's run this service to go along with it. Ah, crap. That's never going to work. Let's try that again. Sorry. Okay, we got our identity server running. Okay, I got another issue. Just a long week. School, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Ah, that sounds like a mug. Get Twitch routed async. So you forgot to add in this one, right? get Twitch users async, right? And this one's going to be create Twitch user async. And this one will be my okay, that looks fine. So the problem was down here under your get Twitch routed's async. This thing needs to get moved up to here. And it's asynchronous. Let's use this one here. We want this response. And this thing's going to be your AliChat Twitch routeds. And now what we want to check is we want to check over here inside of the web API to make sure that we are in fact having that method exposed. Okay, so now when you're looking here, it's called get routed Twitch. So this looks like this has already been completed, so let's build everything. Come on, come on. Twitch routed response, right? Let's just fix the couple of errors that we have. There's a few more. Let's try that again. How are you guys doing out there today? If you haven't yet, please click the follow. Check us out, discord.pixeloverstudios.com. My name's Rob. I'm streaming now 5:30 a.m. till about 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and then also on Saturdays, kind of in the morning. So if you have any questions, pop them in the channel. Thanks again for checking us out. And all the videos are up on YouTube if you want to go back and look at the first one. And they don't have any music, so you can check to see how we got to the point where we're at right now. We don't have a custom URL for that, but here, let me actually link it. We need to get a few more follows in that to end up getting a custom URL, because I just recently started with YouTube. All right, did it build? Looks good. Let's go ahead. We got to build this identity server first. Then our web API resource server. And then our bot. I think this thing is waiting to connect right now. Looks good. Let's try this again. I wonder if now, since they were just running, if it'll let me do it twice. Nope. Let's try one more time. That's running. That one's running. And now we'll run the service. Cool. So this is saying that it's running, right? Did it never kick me down there? What happened? Oh, it's doing a read line. Stupid. Okay, this did not take. It told me that this thing didn't work at all. Because you never actually created this, right? So here, you want to do this. You need to create a new instance of this thing. Perfect. Let's try it again. That's the identity server. This is the resource server. And we got the service running. Okay, easy peasy. But it did find this. So let's check to see what's happening here. Okay, what I want to do is I want to check back over here on the Web API controller for my routeds, and you want to get my get routeds Twitch. Okay. Real quick, before you look at that, I want to look here. Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure that one out here in just a second here. Gross. And now what I want to do is so let's just check the Web API first. Because I'm going to run this in Swagger, see if we get this thing to hit. We should, no problem here. Here we go, let's see. Provider routeds. That's going to shoot back an OAuth token, so let me move it over here. Okay, let me see what we're returning here. But it never returned a user with it. So let me try it again. I want to run the identity server, the Web API, and then also the service. If I look here under my Twitch routeds, I'm looking at my database right now. Currently, I'm only seeing one. I don't see account providers being used at this time. Hold on. But I don't see any accounts being created in here. I think I need to update this database. I think I have a weird thing going on in it. But what I do want to check is here. This create request has a Twitch ID, username, blah, 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 blah. And then here, when you're... This is a Twitch routed, pardon me. This one here. Okay, this one has an OAuth token in your view model. Then you're going to have this username. Okay, so I'm unhappy with the way that this is happening because this needs to be like this. There's a lot more happening here, right? So you're going to do a for each, and then inside of your, in your entity, your... Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to have a var view model equals await. Nope, it's just a mapper.map, and you want to do your Twitch routed view model, right? And you're going to be passing in your item. But then also you want to get your Twitch user. And that's going to be awaiting my unit alert dot Twitch users dot, and we want to do my get async s where I think we're in a T, no, s where my s dot is equal to, and this is going to be in my item dot bot connected as ID. SignalR default, right? So now if my Twitch user here is null, then what you want to do is you want to say that. You want to make sure that we can do this map here, right? So this is a Twitch users is going from my Twitch user to a Twitch I think that's for sure already in here, right? Twitch user view model. So yeah, Twitch user to Twitch user. Okay. View model dot Twitch user is equal to mapper dot map Twitch user view model Twitch user, because this is all right. Then you want to return your view models here, right? like that, okay? So let's try this again. Well, actually, we should build it first. Hey there, Alexander Turkanu. How's it going? It's going great. How are you doing from YouTube? If you could, give me a follow over there. Trying to get that custom URL. I'll do a lot of the streaming here on Twitch and then also on Live EDU. Not sure if you're familiar with those services. And also we have the legacy videos up there on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, please. We have the really active and supportive community here. And everyone's together here on the chat. And then also we have a Discord, discord.pixelhorstudios.com, which is where we all kind of stay in communication. All right, let's go ahead and check. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this resource. Then our identity, and then our service. Okay, all of that started. Here's our service. It kicks through. Could not load Newtonsoft. So here, this thing needs to have a manage NuGet packages called Newtonsoft. Already followed you on YouTube and Discord. Ah, thank you, Alexander. I kind of remember you coming in before. Kind of here, says Patrick. Mostly working on my game. Yep, that's what we're good for here is morning work, at least on my side. Let's try it again. All right, that's running. That's running. This one should be good to go now. I got a new microphone coming in, guys, too, which should really help because this one's kind of toasted. Value cannot be null. On my web API side, get routed Twitch. Try it again. That's the resource. This is the identity. And then the service. And the service should connect two bots here that we've already authed through the MVC. Oh, you know why? Because your resource server URL is null. Because you're never setting it. So just a second. That's exactly what it is. So let me set that here. Doesn't look there. Oh, because it wouldn't be in that one. It would be in the MVC, right? There it is. And let me add it into the correct project. Okay, now we can bring everything back. Sorry about that. Here we go. All right, now we're going to run the identity server. And then also the PHSLE chat. Feeling pretty confident this time that this will work. There it is, it kicked through. Oh, did that? This fits on me, huh? Let's try running it again. What happened? Yeah. That went so fast here. In my program, let's try it again, because that was really strange. Let me check to see this. So we are getting an access token, which is nice. Okay, we did not, because my web API resource apparently is not running at the moment. Let's try it again. You gotta kind of slow down when you're launching them. That's 1 and 2. Let those load. And then we're gonna launch this. I like how easy that Katana pipeline is to set up for tokens. All right, so it's not doing this. So in Twitch users, it's saying that my item, which is coming out of routed view model, doesn't have anything in it. Let's try it one more time, because I think I found it. I think I'm pretty sure it's right here. Come on, come on, come on. I don't understand what happened there. Let's try it again. There we go. Launch that one. Because it could be that this thing is not properly populating here. That could definitely be a possibility. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. And then that way when we test it next time, we can just do straight with the web API, get that corrected. I am. On Twitch and YouTube, I think Hitbox. Hey, Artemis Loops, how are you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. Pretty sure I've seen you here before. Here we go. It kicks through. Doesn't look like I had the other server running, huh? One. Two. And then three. Okay, it kicks. Okay, so now when I pull entity here, I want to take a quick peek, and I don't want to show this in case it has a OAuth token, which I'm sure it will. And it currently doesn't have a bot connected as, but if I look in the database, I do see one that's attached, totally. So here, was it failing here? Well, because it wants to do this coming off of my entity. So let's take a look at this entity. We'll let lazy loading happen for this one. Let's try it again. I should actually probably fix it. Come on, come on, come on. We should launch these out pretty soon, I think. Because it's taken a while. It would only take a minute to launch them onto my local AIS. Don't worry about these. Here we go. Identity server. Resource server. And then the service. Okay, let me check it now. I feel like I should probably get my... And I did. Now we got lazy loading running. So we should have no problems now. And we don't. Okay, now let me check this again. It actually tells me I got nothing, even though I got a 200. Alright, so let me try it again, because that's really strange. And this time we can do it just with the identity and the web API. And then I can do this on my Swagger, right? Okay, this one's going to spit back an OAuth token, so I want to run this over here for a second. Actually says that there's a server error. Oh, you don't actually need this now, right? Just a second. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to run my Swagger. Come on. That looks good. And then we want this one here. There we go, they're both running now. Well, that totally worked, right? Just a second. All right, sorry about that. So let me try that again. So that's unhappy. Let's try it again. Duh, you're dumb. You're very dumb. But the thing that you want to check is you want to see if this is already mapped at that point. Oops. Second. Catastrophic failure. All right, that's running. And the resource and the authorization server is running. Let's run the Swagger. Ah, crap. It's all right. It worked. So now we got our one. It's got all my information in it, including a provider, a Twitch user with no number of channels. That's fine. And then that generates a response. And all that looks pretty good, except for I'm not getting a new GUID on that base response. So here, and now that means that we can come back and we can run the web API, and then we're going to run the service. And we should connect with both accounts. I think we only have one currently in there, and then we'll go and we'll add the second one. Web API resource, identity, and then the service. Okay, our service started. We have one, and then we should see it connect. Object is not set to a reference. I wonder what that's talking about. Let me try something. I want to try this again. 1, 2, 3. They got some weird stuff that happened here. Okay, we should have one, and we do. I'm gonna go check to see, make sure that we got all the data in there. We do. That looks good. Easy. That's such an easy fix for what that is. So stupid, Rob. You forgot to get your object instantiated for your list. Now it'll work. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so did that connect? You should have something in here when you're creating this called a on-channel event, on-connection event or something, right? Here. On connected. And then it looks like it died here. So we want to do a Twitch client.join channel. And I should just be able to say live or dev trying for now. And then also my like that. Let's try it again. Right here, on connected. And here we go, and then we'll run this one. Okay, so we are connected, and we are connected there. And you can see it kicking through. So now if I run the MVC, all right, that should be everything. Not this one. See if this works. Did it not start? No, it did. Okay, so we're off then. And now when I come over to Twitch, let's auth in. Oh my gosh. How did this end up here in Twitch account registered? So just to make sure that we're clear, I want to come here to the database. And I want to delete PHS. And now what I want to do is re-update everything. PHS Alley Chat is going to be under my web API resource. This is going to be my startup project, and we want to do the domain code first. We'll update that database. Looks good. Then we're going to run the resource, identity, and the MVC. Now I'm going to be watching this because what I should see is after I log in, I should see under my Here, I should see them come up. Sorry, MVC first. Okay, next one is the Web API resource. And then also the identity server. Here it comes. We check out Ali Chat. Okay, we're going to create a new account here. It's going to ask to authorize. We'll let this one go through. So did that work? Just a second. It never created this account. Did it create my Twitch user? Hold on. Crap. But it didn't ever make the account associated with it. So the reason why is when you are, it's right here, inside of your MVC, after you are registering somebody and you're doing your auth callback here. I guess it would actually be here. So if you currently have this PHS identity, then what you want to do is you want to get your user here, right? Don't you have something like a user manager in here or something? Client services, Ali Chat. So couldn't you do like a request.getOwnContext.user request.getOwnContext.authentication.user.claims.where s is equal to my value. No, it's the type. It's going to be equal to sub. And there's going to be a claims type dot name identifier. But I already have this hooked up, so I should be able to get it from just getting the user ID. So you should be able to do var user equals, and you want to do like a user ID equals my user dot identity dot get user ID, right? And this one you want to get my account. And you can do this with a username or a GUID, right? Here, we can do this by ID or provider name for an account. Weird. This should be called, you could either pass a ID or you could pass a user ID. So that means that over here on get account on the web API, looks like you do need to have this, right? So you do need to have a base controller in this thing, right? Oops. No. We can delete this. But this one, you want to get an account response, right? iService auth. This doesn't exist anymore. This is just called controller. PHS resource controller. It's not in a resource. This is in a web API resource. This is an API controller. All right, create account. Base controller. This needs a type of service, so that needs to change. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you should already have this iClient services thing that has this in it. Let me see. It's here inside of my AliChat module, inside of this lib, under data access layer, lib, should have this context here, which has account, should have this one, which has account, should have the service here, which has my get account, create account. Perfect. So what that means is actually this base controller was correct. It'll let me. T, where T is a type of base, base client services. Client services base or something. It's not client services, it's base data access layer service. And now this is going to be a protected base data access layer, and we're going to call this my service. And now this is an base data access layer service. And then here, this is going to be a data access layer equals data access layer service. So now this one's going to be an data access layer services AliChat. Okay. And this will be data access layer service. And this one needs to be a data access layer services, and we're going to say data access layer services AliChat. And that's going to be a base of my data access layer services AliChat. Oops, so now in this is a T. Get account async. Get account this one is passing a GUID, but you don't necessarily want that. You want to have your, this is a user account AliChat ID, so we're just going to call this account ID. And then this one you can say public async task of your account view model, and you're going to say that this is your get account async, and it's going to be passing a string of your user ID. And now what you're going to do is a var entity equals your await your unit of work dot accounts dot get a sync s, where my s dot user ID is equal to user ID. SignalR default. If entity does not equal to null, then you want to return your mapper mapping to your account view model. This goes up here into your get account. Create account here. This is coming from, when you're issuing a create account, that's coming from my. So this is a user ID. Okay. Sure. Like that. Then you're going to create this thing using this request. This is an account create request. Data access layer services. And then you have one here which is called your create account update. So this is a account create view model request. Now, I don't know what's in this thing. It's got a providers and a user ID. Provider IDs, which is a list of strings. So you need to make sure that this has an initial value. It's going to be a list of strings. So that's like that, and then you're going to say a for loop for each of my I and my request dot provider IDs dot length. So we're going to say good, and then we're going to say if my request dot provider IDs of I, and this is going to be a good dot try parse out good. So if in fact we are passing a good, then what I want to do is I want to get that. So we're going to do await unit of work dot providers dot get by ID async good. If my provider does not equal to null, then what you want to do is you want to do a account dot providers dot add account provider is a account alley chat is account my provider's routed and routing. We don't have those either. Hey there, IJ20061122. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please pop them in the channel. Check us out, discord.pixelhorsestudios.com as well. And now that you finally have this thing completed, you're going to insert it, and then you're going to save it. Here. Oops, this is get account. Oh man, you only have create account? Just a second. This one's going to be route prefix is going to be alley chat here, right? And this one's going to be accounts. This one's going to be a get. This one's going to be called a account ID, right? I guess we want to do like a user ID. ID or user ID. This one's going to be an account response. We're going to be, if this thing is not null, then you're going to try to parse this and get out my account. And as long as this is not null, then we'll be okay. Otherwise, we're going to say that a user ID was passed. It's got one overload in here, which is a user ID. There it is. And now this route here is going to be okay, and then back over here inside of the client services where we were calling this alley chat account user ID. So this is an ID or user ID, right? This is going to be a user ID, and this one's going to be a user ID if I recall right. Oops. Hey there, Shadow. Scallo, long time no see, man. How are you? It's good to see you, buddy. This one, when you're getting this, you want to pass over a username, get account. Sorry, let me look at this in the... Because you have two of these that you're passing. You have get account, and that's going to be passing over a user ID, and then you're going to also have a get account like that. Like that. This one is a task, right? So this is an async task of my login. And that should log us in there. So let me go ahead and check to see if I can build. Is there something happening? Actually, I'm not sure. Let me close this. I don't see anything running that would cause a problem right now. Let's try building it. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I got a couple of errors. Hey there, SLOVN1K. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Also, all the old videos are up on the YouTube. Let me send you a link to that, and you can go all the way back to day one if you want. Go ahead and paste that right there for you. Thanks again, guys. Unable to copy, unable to copy, unable to copy, invalid expression string. Don't see it. Oops. That should fix it. Looks like I came with my bad luck. VS is bugged. No, nothing's bugged. Just had a weird little break. Let's try to build it now. Oh, it's still trying. All right, let's go ahead and make a little fun. We're going to close this real quick. I have not tried a new C# IDE. Just this one, unfortunately. Oops. Let's go ahead and shut this whole thing down for a second. Try it again. Load it up. Rebuild everything. Check it out. It became my IDE. If you ever did some Java stuff using IntelliJ, then you'll love it. Does it work kind of similar to Visual Studio? Like, I don't know, I'm so familiar with it, but it gives me guff a lot because of the compiled nature of C#. Here we go. Now it's finally building, huh? Zero errors, zero warnings, rebuilt, everything rebuilt. Okay, so now we can go ahead and try it again. First things first, we need to run the MVC. I love JetBrains products. My wife's dad was starting to use some Python. I was teaching him through it. And so I was pointing out some of the JetBrains products. Hey, DZYRRTV, how are you doing? I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Maybe you've been lurking. I think maybe you said hi before. Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, please, again, pop them in. So that was fine. We need to get the resource and then also the identity, probably. JetBrains for the win. It's committed auth or to be. I want to make sure now in my MVC that when I do my auth callback, it should actually, it's going to fail right here because I don't have it exiting. Interesting. So now over here on my auth areas, controllers, alley.chat, controllers for Twitch, you want to look at my, oh, this is MVC. I want to look at this web API under my controllers, under my alley chat, under my Twitch for resource users. Return view users.twitch, so it's not grabbing that. Let's try it again. MVC first. Actually, I got a strange error on that telling me that it has a conflicting name. The Owen startup in MVC references MVC startup conflicts with the attribute in Web API resource. So let me double check here in the Web API startup, resources startup, and in the MVC under startup, MVC startup. So that's not correct. So let's go ahead and open this in File Explorer. Bin and OBJ go away. And also in the Web API. That assembly, it's a little annotation that you have to put in there with Owen to do a self-hosted application. So this is a web application, and startup will fire when it begins the web app. So I actually have a custom one here inside of Ali Chat, and you can see that I'm starting a web service here, which is actually running this startup and generating my tokens. Okay, let me try to get this one working because this one didn't load at all. Let me try again. Here we go. And also the identity. I think it's good this time. I think it started right. It did. Now it's probably not going to let me do this on top. I'm probably going to have to rotate how I started these. Yeah. So we'll set this one as my startup. 1. Two. 3. Looks good. So we have the one here. Let me go ahead and create a new one. Just a second while I log in here. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm back with you guys now. I have 2-factor on this one, so just a second. Okay, and then it says, is that you? And we can say yes. It's going to create my user. And it did. Okay, that's fine. Now you can see we have both of these in here. And now when I run this, it starts the server. It grabs and we should actually be, do I have both bots in here? And there they are. And so you can see that what we have is that we have an application now, that's an ASP.NET application, that we can register our an account into, and then we can auth it in, and then we can also authorize to have chat tokens in there, and then we can have it route messages on our behalf. You can also see that this is also sending it over to the Ali chat room as well. So tomorrow, what we have to do is we have to establish some channels in there so that you can say, okay, I want this one to fall. I want LiverDev trying to go into these channels, and then we can route the messages. So that'll be fun for tomorrow. And yeah, if you haven't, click the follow. Check us out at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Again, all of these videos are up on the YouTube, so let me paste that link here. And if you guys are at all, make sure you join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. And until tomorrow, guys, have a good morning.